Welcome to the Health by Haven podcast. I'm your host, Haven Quinlan. If you're a multi-passionate wellness enthusiast, then you're in the right place. I'm obsessed with learning as much as I can about the wellness world, and I want to share that with you. Each episode will dive into various aspects of health and wellness through inspiring and informative guest interviews with some solo episodes thrown in. Tune in for all things health, and let's have some fun, shall we? If you've been listening to the podcast or following along on Instagram, you probably already know that I'm getting ready for a big move back up to New York City. I'm so excited to have a new space to design, and while I don't know exactly where I'll be living yet, one thing is for sure, my home will feature artwork from my favorite Etsy shop, Arranger Paints. My favorite piece from the artist Steve is a painting of the New York City skyline. It's hanging over my desk as we speak, and it will certainly be making the move to the Big Apple with me. If you're looking for one-of-a-kind artwork to personalize your space, be sure to check out arrangerpaints.etsy.com. As a special thank you for Health by Haven podcast listeners, use code HXH10 to get 10% off your next purchase. Thank you for your support of the show and for supporting our podcast sponsors. Now, back to the show. Shannon Livezey is the owner and founder of Avodah Massage Therapy located in Columbia, South Carolina. Her desire to make a meaningful impact on the well-being of families and her passion for holistic health was ignited during her early career, where she observed the transformative power of touch in her personal life. This led her to explore massage therapy as a means of providing comfort and healing. Driven by her commitment to integrate wellness into family life, she sought specialized training in therapeutic techniques, focusing on how touch can address both physical and emotional needs. Shannon established Avodah Massage Therapy as a family-centered practice where she could blend her expertise with her belief in purposeful, empathetic care. Through Avodah, she aims to offer a space where every family member, from infants to adults, can experience the holistic benefits of intentional touch. In the episode, we talk all about the power of massage therapy, the mind-body connection, and how emotions are stored in the body. We also talk about business, motherhood, and even running. I'm so thrilled to share this episode with you. Please join me in welcoming Shannon Livezey to the Health by Haven podcast. Shannon, thank you so much for joining us today on the Health by Haven podcast. I am just so thrilled to get to chat all things massage therapy and overall holistic health and wellness with you.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, let's get things started by going kind of like way back. I'm so curious what got you interested in this world of massage therapy and why you decided like this is something that you want to make your life's passion and work.
Yeah, so really what happened was I had graduated college in child and family studies, and I really wanted to go kind of like the advocacy route with that. So I was trying to do that, but my husband was in the military at the time. So we had to move from Texas to South Carolina. And when I got here, there really weren't any jobs for me. Nothing. Like, I think I applied to over 60 jobs.
Oh my goodness.
And got like one interview.
Oh, it's exhausting.
Yes. So I was, actually 2 interviews, but still the rate was not great. So I was just like, kind of like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I don't know what is in plan for me, anything like that. And then I happened upon my friend's LinkedIn profile because, everybody was on LinkedIn. And she had actually switched her profession to like something else. We'd gone through like the same program together in college. And I was like, well, if she could do it, I could do that too. But I was like, what am I going to do? So my husband's like, you're really good at massage. Why don't you try massage therapy? And I was like, okay, you're kind of biased. Like, I'm your wife, of course. And so he's like, no, I think you're like genuinely good. So I was like, okay, I will try it out. So like researched the schools and like found Southeastern Institute, that's now Southeastern College, and went through the program. Turns out I was pretty good. Like, to my own horn. Um, and yeah, and then from there, I kind of got into the spa world because they had an internship, and it was like late 2020, so things were kind of starting to like open back up, and I was like, I just need to like find a job. I was getting my license soon, so I worked as like an intern, like doing all like the spa things, like laundry and all that stuff. And then I ended up staying there because I was like, well, I'm comfortable here. But then after a while of like seeing my own clients and everything, I kind of got tired of being rushed and tired of like having to do things a certain way. I kind of wanted to do them my own way and like do what I was passionate about, which is taking care of everybody in the family. So then I decided after being there for a little over 3 years that it was time to start going out on my own and being my own boss and kind of seeing where that led to from there, which has led to Avodah, which has been really great.
That is so fun. Thank you for the background. And I like feel like I can relate to you so much on like wanting to just go out and do your own thing. And I actually had an interview yesterday with my acupuncturist who kind of said the same thing about like, you know, the healthcare world or even in the spa world where you're kind of in a bigger organization and you kind of do have to be a bit rushed because you're on such a tight schedule with clients and everything. And now she owns her own practice as well. So interesting to see the similarities there, you know, among different fields in the health world and industry. But you mentioned being able to see the whole family. So I'm curious, let's dive into that a little bit more. Because I want to know about all the different kinds of massage you do, not just maybe like what the listeners are thinking of, like, you know, I go in and get a massage, but like I know that you do children as well.
Yes. So I really got into that because, like I said, I have a background in child and family studies. And while I was there, I was gone through the whole program of like basically birth to death, and all the things in between, which was super fascinating to me. And kind of like what I saw in my own kids, I was like, you know, there's like that popular saying of like, oh, well, kids, they're so resilient, like they don't need much or whatever. And I was just like, no, that's not really true. Like all these things that happen in childhood, they stay with you and then they become dysfunction in adulthood. So I started following this course called craniosacral fascial therapy. And they basically share the same idea of like, hey, if you can get to the kid and or baby, like, and you can work out those patterns already beginning to be in their musculature, then you can really help them thrive into adulthood. So I got really into that, and I was able to take that training in November. But before that, I'd like started working on infants through some other trainings. And I also was able to work on some pediatric clients as well. And I've just honestly like seen such amazing results from that. And like I literally had a client text me a couple days ago, and she was like, I didn't realize how tight my baby was until like you worked on her, and now she's just melting. But basically that kind of body work isn't like obviously traditional massage. We're not like doing Swedish on them. We're not like in the whole spa treatment. It's basically, I like to call it kind of like an unwinding. So you're kind of guiding the body in ways that it wants to go to begin to unwind. Because when you get injured or when you have tension in the body, it does create a pattern in your muscles. And so to be able to uncreate that pattern, the body has to move in different ways. And it's not just like, well, we just can smooth that out. And so I also do this with my adult clients, obviously. And we do like traditional massage, but I also kind of tack on CFT at the end. And a lot of clients have been like, what's that magical thing you do with my neck?
Okay, it sounds amazing. Like right here as we're talking and both sitting at desks and things, a lot of the American workforce is like a very stationary type job. We're at our desks all day long. And I don't know about you, but I definitely like hold tension in my neck and my shoulders and everything. So what does some of those, your magic neck treatments, like what does that look like for someone who's like, I've never heard of this before? And obviously we're on a podcast and so people can't see us, but like tell us a little bit more about that.
So it can be done in like two ways. Basically there's like micro movements. So these are just movements that are imperceptible to the naked eye. Like I tell parents a lot of times, I'm like, I promise, like I'm actually doing something. It just doesn't look like I'm doing something. Because your body moves even when you're still, like you're pumping your blood, you have little micro movements in your muscles, like your body's never truly stationary. So there is like micro movements that are unwinding and it looks like very still, but it's really not. And then you get like the big macro movement. So that would be like your head is moving from side to side or like turning around or not turning around. That would be insane. Like turning from side to side or like going in kind of like when you roll out your neck, kind of that movement. Or like your arms are like flexing and extending and moving over your head or your body is twisting. So it would be kind of, it looks like stretching, but it is not like true stretching. I'm never pushing anybody past where their body wants to go. So as a practitioner, basically what I'm doing is I'm feeling like which way does the body want to go? So if I kind of gently try to influence it one way and I feel kind of like a resistance or like a stuck, we're going to try a different way or we'll try to hold a different area. So it's not like a true stretch in that you're trying to kind of push them past where their body can go already, but kind of complementing the body and where it wants to go. And then matching the muscles on what tension they have and never pushing past that.
Okay. So it sounds like very personalized based on somebody and their range of movement.
Yeah. And it's also personalized based on like where they're feeling pain in their body, like any past traumas that they've had. So yeah, it's very, very different person to person. There's no like one set movement or hole or whatever for each person.
Okay. So are most of your clients coming in with like a particular thing? They're like, I'm feeling pain in this area. Or do you mostly see clients who are like, this is a thing I do like on a regular basis for my health?
For the most part, I do see clients that do have like particular pain areas or injuries or even just like chronic pain that they're trying to like work through or improve their quality of life. And it's really funny because they'll come in waves, kind of like what I'll be seeing. So like January, February, March, I was seeing a lot of like constipation. And then April, May, June, I'm seeing a lot of low back pregnancy pain. So it's just really funny how I'll get like a kind of wave of like people being like, oh, we all have this similar thing going on. But for the most part, I do mostly see clients who do have specific injuries, pain, chronic pain that they're working through. It's probably only like maybe 5% that I see who are just coming in for relaxation or a nervous system reset. Actually, a nervous system reset's way more popular than just relaxation, but a couple other things.
Okay, so let's go there. Let's use a couple of those examples that you just mentioned. So constipation, talk to us about how, and understanding everyone's individualized, like how you might work with somebody if they're like, I have this problem and I would like to remedy it through massage therapy.
Yeah, so there's like a couple of different ways that I would work on that. So I could do like traditional abdominal massage to help move things along. You can even work on, a lot of times what I see people have constipation, their back is also really tight down into their sacrum. So like things are just in that area in general tight, or their ribs might be tight. There's a lot of like just fascial restriction that is not allowing the intestines to be able to move and function in the way that they're supposed to push everything out. So we could go the traditional route of focused massage in that area to help move things along. I also, if they're an adult, I'll do like red light therapy for them because that really helps reduce inflammation. And then for kids, we'll do focused CFT in that area. So it'll be a lot of more sacral movements and more focus on moving the body in a way that releases those fascial restrictions and allows everything to glide and not restrain the proper movements that it's supposed to do.
Okay, makes sense. I love like talking about this with people who are providing an alternative to like the traditional Western medicine. And obviously like time and a place for that. Science has advanced so much and can be life-saving. But like it's really nice to know people have other avenues where maybe they don't need to be bound to taking a medication every single day for something like constipation or something like low back pain. So like I know you just gave an example as well of pregnancy pains, and I've not been pregnant, but I know like obviously through a lot of friends, like seeing that it can get really uncomfortable, as you mentioned, like low back area. So what does it look like? Like how is it different, I guess, when you're working on patients who are pregnant?
Yeah, so prenatal is very different because you have to consider kind of what period they are in their pregnancy. So like first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, because there's different hormones at play there. So for example, first trimester, you're not really like feeling great for the most part. You're not feeling great. You've got a lot of rise and fall of how you're feeling. Like 1 second you might be feeling great, and the next second you're like, I am about to throw up. So that generally tends to be a little bit like kind of like handle with care. Also because it is such an emotionally charged time, because that tends to be when you see the majority of miscarriages. So those massages are more so focused on like their comfort and their ease, and making sure that I'm not putting them in a position where they're like, I feel really nauseous, or they feel like the massage is putting their pregnancy at risk. And also tends to be in the first trimester that a lot of people don't experience as much pain in the low back or anything like that. They're more so kind of feeling aches and pains of like the hormones coursing through their body, like things like that. So it's more like handle with care. Second trimester is when you start to really get that low back pain, because now baby's gaining more weight, your body distribution is different, you have more weight in your front than you do in your back. So now your spine is at an awkward angle, your pelvis is moving, things like that. So that'll kind of be where we start to work more on pain spots and helping ease the pain in the muscles and make sure that they're feeling very comfortable and they're not feeling like, oh my gosh, I am a stranger in my own body and everything sucks.
Yeah.
And then third trimester is when like relaxin really starts to kick in. So you can be a little more focused like in the second trimester, but you got to kind of be careful because you don't want to accidentally push things too far just because it's already nice and relaxed because the pelvis is open, but that relaxin is not just concentrated in that area. It is flowing throughout your whole entire system. So you want to be careful that you're not overstretching joints and that you're not putting undue pressure, especially on the pelvis, because you don't want it to move out of place. I mean, it's really hard to, quite honestly, but it is not impossible accidentally if you put way too much pressure. But I haven't really seen anybody do that, but it's just like a kind of approach with caution, just because that's such a fun area that moves a lot that people don't realize actually moves.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're teaching me so much right now because I had no clue that that was something that could really be affecting your entire body and not just like, obviously you're having physical changes when you're going through pregnancy, but like to the fact that you could be stretching somewhere else in their body and it still be affected more sensitively than normal.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really eye-opening, even to me. I had already had 2 kids by then, and I didn't know either that that happened. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is insane that your hormones go throughout your entire body. And that's why you feel all those changes, and instead of just being focused in that one area. So yeah, it's really fun, the things that you learn when you are doing all these different trainings. You're like, I had no idea.
It's fascinating. And that's part of the reason I love this podcast is getting to talk to people in all these different areas and like learn things and share this information that we may not otherwise know about. So,
Yeah.
okay. I want to go back to nervous system function because I've been really loving lately, like learning more and more about the mind body connection and how like our emotions affect our body as well. And I'm sure that you feel that in people when you're working on them, like where they're holding stress and where they're holding emotions. So talk to us about when people come in for specifically like nervous system reset and what that looks like.
Yeah, so it's going to look a little bit different for everybody, just because when you do have, when you are trying to help the nervous system through the body, people hold different emotions in different places. So a lot of times it will show up as chronic pain in the body, which is always very interesting to me in that for a lot of chronic pain, it's just treated through like taking a certain pill every single day, or like doing different injections, things like that, and not really addressing like, well, how did this become chronic pain? Like, how do we get to this point where this is just so uncomfortable and nothing is really helping? So yeah, it really depends on like what the person is dealing with. So I ask like, hey, is there anything, and this is for all of my massages, just because, you know, everybody's carrying around a certain level of trauma. But I ask everyone like, hey, like, do you have any trauma in your past or present that you think would affect this session? And like how? And then if they do, I'll be like, hey, how do you want me to address this if it comes up? Like, do you want me to like keep in contact with you and just be like a strong, steady hand and just stay in one place? Do you want me to like just take a pause, leave the room, let you be by yourself, things like that? Because I have had a lot, or not a lot, but sometimes when we're working on a certain area that people will start to have an emotional reaction, like crying, is really common. And everybody responds to crying in front of somebody, especially if you're a stranger, very differently. Like some people are like, please don't watch me cry. Other people are like, yes, like I need you to be close to me. So it's just a preference of how they want that to be addressed. And then when it has to do with chronic pain, kind of working to help them make that connection again, because what's happened is that there is a disconnect in that the body and the mind aren't really working together anymore. And so, you know, there might not be any actual pain, but the body is sending signals to the brain like, we're in pain. And the brain's like, oh my gosh, this is in pain. But there's like actually not a true dysfunction. in the body. So just working to make that connection better and help it so that, you know, your body's not trying to constantly send signals to the brain of like, we're in pain. And the brain's like, yes, you're in pain and so much pain all the time. And kind of create a better connection because there's been a disconnect there.
I find that so fascinating. It's like mind boggling to me that like our bodies and our minds are so powerful that you can, like you said, maybe you don't have a dysfunction, like say in your shoulder or something. Maybe there's not like a physical thing. Like doctors are like, everything looks fine. Like your MRI looks fine. Your X-ray looks fine, whatever test you may be having. And it could just be like actual like emotions that are sending those pain signals to your brain. That's wild to me.
Exactly. And I think it's like, and it's also super frustrating for clients when they come in and they're like, I have this pain, but no one has been able to figure out why or find it. They'll be like going to doctors, getting these MRIs, and they're like, oh, everything looks great. Like, for example, you said the shoulder, like they'll be like, oh, your shoulder looks perfect. Like nothing is structurally wrong. Like nothing is out of place or anything like that. And just like going to someone and having them validate that their pain, like what they're feeling is real. I honestly think like that's the first step to healing it. Because I mean, they've been told this whole entire time that what they're feeling is not true, but they are feeling it. It's their lived experience. Even if you can't find it on an MRI machine or a CAT scan or an X-ray or whatever, doesn't mean that what they're feeling is not valid. So I like to start out by saying like, yes, like your pain is real. Like what you're feeling in your body, your lived experience, it is real. And we'll work together to help, you know, calm your nervous system down, get you out of pain as best as we can. I mean, obviously I cannot heal anybody, but I've seen so many clients, like just by affirming that their pain is real pain, they already start to feel better. Because they're like, someone believes me after all these professionals are like, no, I don't believe you. Like, this isn't anywhere, whatever. We can't, here's some pills.
Yeah, because it can make you feel crazy if you're like, how is there not something wrong? Like something's wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, it's just crazy to me. And I've like had this in my own experience, where I've gone to the doctor and I'm like, I am in so much pain, or like, when I was pregnant with my firstborn, I went to the ER because I could not stop throwing up. Like I was just in so much pain. It was horrible. I was like, something is wrong. Like I knew something was wrong. And like you get gut feelings about these things. And while I was there, I will never remember that, or I will never forget this, because a nurse was like, oh, honey, you just have morning sickness. And I was like so enraged. If I hadn't been so sick, I probably would have like punched her. I wouldn't have, but I was just so mad. I was like, this is not like, I know how I feel. And what I am feeling is not that. And so like, and I feel like this gets told to people all the time. It's just like, oh, well, this is just this, or this is just normal or whatever. And it's like, no, it shouldn't feel that way. It shouldn't be that way. And you kind of like get this gut sense of like, oh, my body, like it really hurts. Like this is wrong. And then I feel like when so many people tell you, no, it's not wrong, or no, you're fine, or no, like this, and you start to question your body, and then you start to be like, oh, well, that pain isn't real, but I'm still feeling it. So what's going on with me? Like, am I crazy? Like, and then your body just kind of like goes offline. And you're like, I don't know how to deal with this.
Absolutely. And then it just exacerbates the situation. I feel like wherever you're feeling it, it just gets worse. And you're like kind of gaslighting yourself because you're like, maybe I am making this up, you know? And so I feel like you just sharing all of that is like validating so many people right now who are dealing with one thing or the other to be like, no, like this is real. You can trust your body. It might not be a physical thing that's going to show up in a traditional like scan or test or something, but it's clearly your body's trying to tell you something that you need to like deal with and find a different way to like work it out.
Exactly. Yeah. And yes, just the amount of people who just like need that told to them is so many. So
So
many
many.
people. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've been there as well. So I want to shift a little bit into like the business side of things. When
Mhm.
you decided, after a few years, you were like, I want to be able to like have the flexibility to not rush and to work with people more. Like, talk to us about like taking that leap. I talk to a lot of business owners and I'm like very interested in this. Like, it feels really scary to be like, no, I'm gonna
Mhm.
like go out and do it on my own. So what was that like for you?
Terrifying. I sometimes I'm like, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, am I really doing this? This doesn't feel real or like I'm qualified or anything. Kind of like that imposter syndrome of like, what am I doing?
Yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, it was really scary. I feel like if I had done this when I was younger, I would have like quit immediately, just because it's a lot. There's so much that goes into like running your own business, like doing all the logistics, like figuring out like ordering, like your schedule, like customer service, things like that is just, it's a lot. It is a lot every single day. And yeah, I was terrified when I first went into it. It has gotten easier since then, but sometimes like in the back of my mind, I'm like doing something wrong. Like I don't know what it is, but something's probably not going right. But then I've also come to the realization that, you know, when you start something, it's going to have like kinks and it's going to not always run super smoothly. Like there's been times where I've forgotten to order something and we really needed it. Or, you're human and you kind of got to take that in stride and be like, listen, I'm going to make mistakes and it'll be okay. We'll just ask for a little grace and we'll keep moving on. Because yeah, we're not robots out here just doing everything super perfectly. And there's so much to do that you can't do it all super perfectly. So yeah, it was terrifying, but it's gotten easier since then. But sometimes I'm still like, this isn't real.
Well, I love
I
that
really didn't mess myself
sentiment.
here. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that sentiment and the realness of that, and like I think so many people feel whether they're a business owner or not, imposter syndrome about whatever they're doing. Like sometimes I,
Mhm.
I look at my dog and I like look at my husband and I'm like, who let us be in charge of her? Like we keep her alive every day, like little things like that. It's like, wait,
Yeah.
I'm not old enough for this. So I totally get that as well. And you have two kids as well.
Yes.
So what does
Yeah.
that look like with business ownership?
It has taken different forms throughout the years. So, my husband also works for full time, and it has been a lot of like trying to balance childcare with what my clients need and what I need my schedule to be. Um, so we finally have both kids going to school this year. It's been a huge break for us,
Yeah.
just because childcare is expensive and it's hard, especially because we don't live near any of our family.
Mm.
Um, but thankfully, like I've been fortunate in that my parents will come up every summer and like watch the boys for me, so that I can go to work and my husband can go to work. But yeah, when we first started out on this journey, I was working nights, not working for myself. I was working for the spa, but I was working nights. So we would kind of like high five at the door and go off our separate ways. So like you come home from work and I'd be gone. So yeah, it has taken many different forms over the years, from like different childcare centers to like half day school, full day school, us high fiving each other out the door. It's been honestly crazy, but somehow it has worked, which has been so great. Just because childcare is such a hard thing to navigate, especially when both parents are working and you're not living near any family. So I feel like a lot of people have an issue with this. It's not just me.
Of course. And I don't have kids, but I know even coordinating for a dog sometimes, I mean, like you're validating a lot of people's feelings right now. I think you do have kids. Like, yeah, it is hard and like somehow you make it work. But yeah, I just kind of wanted your
Mhm.
perspective on that, especially like starting your own business, because I know that can be just like honestly more work than working
Mhm.
for someone.
Yeah, it has been a lot of work. But thankfully, like my husband has been so supportive and he has been honestly like we do everything all at once, which is insane. So he's actually been finishing up his master's degree while I've been in the 1.5 second year of my business. So we were just like, let's do all the things at one time. So it hasn't been always super easy to navigate. And there's definitely been times where, especially this past school year, because both of our boys were going to in different school systems. So, like, one had spring break in March and the other one had spring break in April. And I was like, what? Can y'all not have spring break at the same time? Uh, Now they will. But it's just a lot of like different logistical things pop up, and you just kind of have to be able to be flexible and be able to coordinate with your spouse and have that support from them. I think that's so crucial because, for example, like I'm in the treatment room most of the day. I can't pick up the phone if the school calls right away because I don't have my phone in there. And so we had to make the decision. Like I was like, hey, babe, you're going to have to be the emergency contact because I cannot be the emergency contact. So have your phone with you. So it's just kind of like making sure that you have plans in place, or like we have really great neighbors. So we're like, hey, like if we have an emergency, can you pick our kids up from school and things like that. So just kind of building up your community around you and
Mhm.
building up like extra support and backup plans and like making sure you have all the logistics. Like sometimes things are still going to go horribly, horribly wrong. Not horribly, horribly wrong, but like be unexpected. Like, for example, I was in a car accident and it was really bad,
Oh
but I had to take two and
gosh.
a half weeks off of work, which was not fun. But thankfully, like I had already saved up and in case something like that happened.
Mm.
So just like planning for the unexpected is a lot of what it takes, especially if you use your body for your work.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's so scary. I'm so glad
Mhm.
so glad you're okay. And I think you made a good point about like the community and, having people in your corner. So I feel like it's a great segue. I want to ask you a little bit about Holistic-ish Collaborative.
Yeah.
Tell us
Yeah.
everything.
Basically, me and my business partner, Georgia, she owns Pesh Skin Co. We started the Holistic-ish Collaborative as a way to kind of be like those businesses in the community that are holistic, but also like we do research, we do like science-based things. Like it's not just all like out there or not founded on research. So kind of as a way of like we saw a lot of people kind of moving towards like all holistic all the time and like doing things that quite frankly had no true research done on them or basis on their benefits, or could be dangerous. So
Yeah.
kind of like being able to brand ourselves and strike that balance of like, yes, we offer alternative therapies, but no, we're not going to do something that hasn't been researched, hasn't been fleshed out, um, is could be potentially harmful, like things like that. So, like one of the big things is the homemade sunscreen thing where people are like, yeah, I can make my own sunscreen. And you're like, no, actually, that's really not protecting your skin because you're not able to mix it up as well as the people who make the sunscreen, or get the ingredients correct to have that balance that actually protects your skin. So things like that. We just wanted to be able to be like there for people who want holistic approach, but also want things to be well researched, and science backed, basically. My motto is I am a late adopter for everything because I want to see if it actually works first.
Well, I love the balance between like trying to find alternative routes and holistic, but obviously still making sure like this is legitimate and this is going to work and keep you safe. So that's amazing. And I had to ask more about that because I also love that you guys, even though you have your own businesses, are like supporting each other too, because I'm sure the world of entrepreneurship for anyone involved can be kind of like a lonely road sometimes. You don't have as many like traditional coworkers in that sense.
Yeah, it can definitely be lonely. Like it's when you work for yourself and you're like your only employee, you could definitely be like, oh my gosh, I just see myself every day. And I was seeing like so many people before, even though you work on people, like they're not really like your friends. So
Yeah.
or coworkers. And so yeah, sometimes it can be really, really lonely, but it is nice to like have someone out there who's like working with you and who like obviously we share a space and we share a lot of clients, and we get to like have those fun business events and do things together, because honestly I probably wouldn't plan half as many things as we do just because like it's exhausting.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, can we talk about running? Because I saw you're a runner and I am as well. And I love chatting about running, especially with other runners. So tell us everything. When did you start running? Why do you like it?
I started running in college because my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, he was like, let's do these runs at this restaurant together. It was in Texas. It was called like the Goose's Acre. And so it'd be like Monday runs. And this is in Texas in the summer.
Oh,
So
brutal.
yes, I hated all of it. Um, and I was a former gymnast. So like my ligaments and everything are they're better now. Are very unstable, like very stretchy. So I hated it. But at the college I went to, Baylor, they have this half marathon called the Marathon. It's like nicknamed the toughest half in Texas. So I was like, why don't we do this together? Because, if I'm going to go a little bit in, I'm going to go all in. So we trained for it together ish, because he went to a different college. So we kind of didn't run together a lot. And we ended up doing it, and I was crying. I was crying by the end of it because there are some major hills in that race. And my knees are like so shot, but I kind of put running aside after that because I was like, this sucks. This is horrible. And then when I had my first son, my husband was deployed in Korea. So I was like, well, there's nothing else for me to do except for take care of him and work out. So I was like, let me just start running again. So I started like kind of running with him around in the neighborhood in his little stroller, and he hated the stroller. So I was like, okay, this is fine. And then once my husband came back, I started running some more. I'm like, let me try the marathon again. So I did that again, and it didn't end horribly. It was
Redemption.
hot. It didn't end horribly. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I kind of like the running thing. So I started doing it more. And then when we moved to South Carolina, I was like, the best way for me to make friends, I'm going to join a running group.
Yes.
So I researched like different running groups in Columbia, and I found FIA, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go to one of their runs. I'm just going to go to one of their runs. And I saw that like the start time was like 5:15. Well, me being like a compulsive, like if I'm not early, I'm late kind of person, I show up before 5 a.m. Because like I don't know where I'm going. I just moved to this city, and I was like, I don't want to be late and all this stuff. So I show up at 5 a.m. and they have like a 5 a.m. pre-mile. So I was like, okay, I'm not just going to sit in my car by myself in this parking lot in the city. I don't know where I am. So I went on the 5 a.m. pre-mile and I did not realize like how much the humidity sucks.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah. So after that 1 mile, I was like dying. But I kept going and I started doing more races and then I started doing more crazy races. So I just kind of have stuck with it. And it's like a love-hate relationship. I love to run, but I also hate it.
Well, you're probably also validating a lot of people's feelings towards running right now as well.
Yes. My friend and I, in our running group, we always send like those memes back and forth about running and how crazy we are. And there's this one race we do every year called Ville to Ville, which is a relay race from Asheville to Greenville. And it sucks. Like it really sucks. But after the race is over, the day after, they open up registration for the next year for everybody who participated. And every single year we're like, yeah, let's do it again. But it's like when you're doing it, you're like, this is awful.
It's somehow you like forget the hard parts in a race and you just like remember the highs and you're like, yeah, wait, actually that wasn't awful. That was great. Like, let me do it again.
Exactly. Which is really kind of funny because that's how it kind of is with labor. Like you forget how awful it is. And then you're like, I could do that again. And then my husband will like, Shannon, you hated it. It was awful. It was horrible. Like, let's never do that again. I'm like, it wasn't that bad.
Guess it's our body's mechanism to protect ourselves. We're like only remembering the good parts.
Either that or something like seriously broken with my brain. Although I will say I ran my first marathon in February at Austin. And like the first 13 miles, I was like, everybody was there. It was super great. And it was so much fun. Like the hills weren't that bad because it was really funny. They're like, there's a really bad hill. And I was like, that's actually like not a big hill. And I was like, man, if they had a QR code at mile 13, I would have signed up for next year. But at mile 13, the half marathoners split up from the marathoners. And then after that, it was pretty like dead quiet. And I was like, ooh, I don't want to do this.
Yes. Okay. Wait, so many races do that. Can we campaign to not have that happen? Because I feel like the back half of a marathon like that is just horrific when that happens.
I know. And it's such a suck fest. Like after that, like you're like, that's when I need the cheering.
Right.
I don't need it for the first 13 miles. I know I can run a half marathon. Like, I don't know if I can run a second one.
Agreed. We need to start a course that doesn't do that.
I know. I was just like, man, this is so sad. I'm just alone here with my thoughts in Hamilton. Like,
amazing. Well, congratulations. That's no small feat.
thanks. It's probably my last one. We'll see.
Okay, I feel like I could chat with you all day long, Shannon, but for the sake of time, I'm going to move us into some final fun rapid fire questions, and I'm going to throw in some running ones as well, since we just chatted running. So, running watch or no watch?
Definitely running watch and not Garmin because they suck.
Oh, what's your running watch of choice?
I love the Koros because it doesn't it's not mean to me. And it doesn't mess up. Like when I'm running with my friends and I had a Garmin, it would always show me as like running less than them or running at like a significantly slower pace than them. So I was like, you know what, Garmin, you're kind of mean to me and you're kind of not keeping up with my friends. So I'm going to switch. And I switched to the Koros and it was cheaper.
Yeah.
And, it doesn't badmouth me and it feels pretty good.
Yeah, I like it. I'm a Koros gal too. So Koros, you can sponsor both of us.
Yes, please. Thank you. Running is expensive.
Okay, headphones or no headphones on a run?
It depends. So I'm mostly team no headphones because I run in groups. So I will talk a lot to people, which is really funny when I went running with my sister because she started training for this marathon with me and she had never really run before. So she was like, don't expect me to talk to you. I was like, it's okay. I'll just talk at you.
Yep.
So I talk a lot with my friends when we run. But when I'm with myself, like by myself or like in a race by myself, I definitely need some headphones or else I'm just stuck in my own thoughts. And half the time my own thoughts are like, why are you doing this to yourself? Like, why do you hate me?
Yeah. So when you have the headphones, is it podcast or music?
That also depends. Sometimes I bounce from like a podcast to music mood. I've been super into ologies lately just because it's so engaging. And if I'm road running, my brain drifts a lot. So I like to listen to like super engaging podcasts.
Yeah.
Because sometimes with the music, if the beat's too quick, you start to like speed up and you're like, why am I breathing so hard?
Yeah. Okay. Morning or evening run?
Definitely morning. I hate evening runs. I did the Hot Summers 5K once and it was the worst ever.
I could not agree with you more there.
Mm-hmm.
Roads or trails?
I am definitely more partial to trails just because you have to stay engaged the whole entire time. And trails kind of like brainwash you a little bit into being like, this is an adventure and you're going faster than you actually are. So the whole entire time you're like, this is so much fun. Like there's so many things to see. I have to make sure I don't trip over some rocks. And you're like, I'm flying. And then you get out of the run and you're like, it was like 12-minute pace. And you're like, well, I felt like I was flying. But then road running, you like get to it and you're like, this is so hard. I must be going so fast. And it's like, no.
Okay. Speed work or long run?
Definitely long run. I hate speed work so much.
We have the same answer for like most of these, although not trails. You're braver than I.
Oh, I definitely fall down all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just have to drink enough coffee beforehand.
Yeah. Okay. Juice or smoothie?
Smoothie, but I have to have like fries with it because I need to chew my food.
Okay. Salad or bowl?
Ooh. Can I have the salad in a bowl?
Sure. Why not? Pizza or pasta?
Oh gosh. I just had pasta today and that was really good. But I've also had some banging pizza. Probably pizza.
Tacos or quesadilla?
Tacos, no doubt.
An early riser or night owl?
Definitely an early riser. Having children will force you to be. So I was just like, you know what? I'll accept it. Go to bed at like 8:30 and it'll be great.
Okay, Shannon, I've had so much fun getting to chat with you. I know you're going to give people so much great insight into the world of massage therapy and how it can help them in so many different ways. So for people who are listening, if they're local to Columbia, South Carolina, where can they work with you? And if they're not, like, where can they follow along online with you?
Yeah, so I'm located at 1533 Richland Street in Columbia, above Spotted Salamander. And online, I am on Instagram mainly. I have a Facebook page, but I don't really use it. So you can find me at Avodah Massage, which is AVODAH Massage.
Amazing. And we'll link it in the show notes. Well, thank you so much, Shannon, for your time today. I so appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Health by Haven podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to give the show a 5-star rating and leave a review. It makes such a huge difference in reaching new people and spreading the joy of healthy living. I would also be so appreciative if you subscribe to the show in the listening app of your choice so you never miss an episode. Your support truly means the world to me. Have a happy, healthy day, and I'll talk to you again soon.